Hi, I'm Lance Lambert. Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Vehicle Show. We're in Ocean Shores, Washington at the Route 66 Automobile Collection. This is a really fun collection, a bunch of cars. There's even a little motel attached to this thing. It's all part of the collection. Well, you're going to meet somebody real special today, and he's going to share something about this facility and his car collection with us. So let's just bring him in. Ed Duncan, come on in here. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Good, good.
Hey, Lance, I'm Michael. I just work here, buddy.
Yeah, says
when
Michael
I put this
here,
jacket on,
yeah,
that's all I do is work.
Yeah.
Here.
And you've successfully been working, because what a collection you have here. How did this come about?
Well, I started out when I was about 11 going to work for a guy named John and Leanne Farrell, and he owned Farrell Auto Wrecking, and then he started building warehouses. And in the warehouses, when he'd have spare space, which was a lot, he'd buy cars, and I'd go with him and Leanne, and we'd just go find cars and buy them and bring them back to the warehouse, and then he'd have me on the weekends polishing them. I was also restoring his old house. That's how I got the job working for him. $1 an hour. Oh, there's a lot of money back then, trust me, thank you. And I'd polish them, and then if somebody came in, saw the car, if they liked it, I'd take them to the big house, and then he'd sell them. And that was it. And that's how I fell in love with the car.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then, you know, fast forward to the recent past, how did this all come about?
Well, this guy owed me some dough, so I ended up with a house by the Polynesian. It was it's a nightly rental.
Here in Ocean Shores.
Yes. And then I found this place, and this was the old tire store, and then I guess a contractor owned it. And so I was able to pick this up pretty reasonable. I said, hey, this would be a great place to put some cars.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was kind of in my head, and just put her together.
And you build a little kind of motel hunk to it where people can come down and
try to help support my habit, which is a bad one.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I got the disease.
Yeah. Well, it's a disease that I share, and why don't we take a look at some of these cars, and let's start with this one right here.
Sure.
Okay. Beautiful 1954 Ford. Tell us about it.
This I found, I was driving on 167, and I saw it it was down in Pacific, Algona, Pacific, and a little auction yard, and it was sitting out there, and I got it for $6,000. It was just got lucky, and nobody there, and picked it up. And of course, I have guys that work for me, and then during the winter when they're not doing something, I actually painted this in our shop about I don't know, 12 years ago. So it still looks pretty good. And
of all the cars that Ford made in 1954, this particular car this is the top of the line. It's a Skyliner.
Yeah, this was the first year of the V8, and the first year they did the Skyliner. So I feel very fortunate to have. I bought one when I was about 17, I think, for $200 in my neighborhood, and I'm getting rid of it. But yeah, so when I had this opportunity, I said, oh, gee, I can relive the past.
And the Skyliner with the plexiglass top with the sun coming through, what's that like?
Well, you know, in Washington, it's perfect because it's always sunny. And the other thing that I really liked about this, and some people do and some people don't, I love the Continental kit. Just love it. And it makes the car, I think, and the color combination. And and the interior, I had that done, and it just turned out so nice, and it's just fun car.
And with that plastic top on it, the see-through, here in Washington, if the sun's not coming through, you can look up and it looks like you're looking into an aquarium.
There you go. Yeah, and then also kind of neat and rare are the plexiglass sun visors. You don't see that very much.
No, you don't.
No, that's a new one. Yeah, you might have a nicer 54, but you don't have these.
Well, this is a fun car, but next to it is a car that is really fun. Let's take a look at it.
Sure, you got it.
You have a fun collection of cars, but maybe at the top of the fun list is this Volkswagen. what an unusual little rig this is. And it also shows that you can do some pretty fun things with a Volkswagen.
Yes,
Tell us about
absolutely.
this.
This is called the budget bucket because I got about $6,000 in this. I bought this for about $4,000 at a Volkswagen show that I was participating in. And it was just primer. And the guy was a machinist for Boeing. And he did all of this work. Of course, I put my little 2 cents on it. and I had it painted, and I put the scallops because I thought that would be just different. And the seats are actually out of the Gig Harbor Theater. Those are the back row seats. If those could talk, oh my God, Lance, we don't know what they'd say, but I'm sure it was happy times. Anyway, so it was just a really neat job the guy did. I was so impressed with what he did, and then he was ready to let go of it for the right price.
I had the pleasure of driving this in the recent past in a parade here in Ocean Shores, and the people went nuts. They just went crazy over this thing. It was all thumbs up and kids waving and everything. It was really fun. What kind of response do you get from people? It's always that?
Yeah, it's always. Nobody ever has a bad thing to say about the little bug, you know. And like I say, it's the budget bucket. So for beginners, if they can get, you know, a little Volkswagen and then trick it out a little bit, you can get a starter, you know, and just shave the top off.
Yeah.
You got a convertible all the time.
It is a budget top. Yesterday you were at the High Rollin' Hot Rods car show, and there were I think there were 257 cars there, and you took Best of Show, which is what we're going to look at next.
Amazing.
All right, let's go look at it.
Amazing, yeah.
At the High Rollin' Hot Rods show, this was the car that walked away with the Best of Show, and you had some pretty stiff competition there. This 34 Ford Wrecker is pretty cool. Tell us about it.
Yeah. Well, when I was just driving in Spanaway, and I saw a little auction sign, and I said, oh, I had a little extra time, so I pulled in, and they said, yeah, we're going to be selling some old signs and things, and maybe a couple vehicles. It was on a Tuesday night, and I go, yeah, I'm going to go to that. Maybe nobody will show up, and you know. And so I made it to that, and I saw this thing, and I fell in love. My hand never went down. I was going up against LeMay, not the old LeMay.
Right, he's
the new LeMay.
Okay, Doug.
At the new facility.
Right.
And I guess I had more money than them that night.
There's nobody on the planet that has more money
not
than them.
LeMay. There's only two guys that collect better. You got the high grade asphalt where I'm going out and seeing the cars, and the LeMay who had the doggone people picking the cars because they'd go get the garbage, and he'd probably pay him for coming back and telling them what new car showed up in the neighborhood. But this is a beauty. I just loved it.
And it's a record. No, you don't see these things at car shows.
No. Unique. That's the whole cute, and women like it, guys like. I mean, it just.
I bet kids love it.
Kids love it. Yes, absolutely.
And when you display this, you have it displayed towing one of your other cars.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So yeah, if anybody wants to, I can hook my crane up for $20. They can park right behind it, and we'll fix them up. Okay. And they can have the picture too.
You heard it right here on the show. The car behind us, the Lancer, I don't know why I like that model name. I don't know.
I knew that'd be a winner when I saw it.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, I got to get that for Lance.
Yeah. Well, let's go take a look at it.
You bet.
56 Dodges and 55s, I think, are kind of unappreciated. They're appreciated, but not like they should be. They should be as popular as the Tri-5 Chevs and all, because they're so unique. This one is unique on top of unique because of the color. Tell us about this.
I was paving a driveway. Here's a good example of bartering. I had a 90 Corvette with about 20,000 miles, and the guy wanted to trade me, and I couldn't do it fast enough. It's just, when I saw this, he had it in his garage undercover, and he started peeling off, and I saw that salmon. I was already sold. But I love the rear lights with the little, and then you look at the fin. The 57 Chevys copied this, I think, because the 57 Chevy came out with that fin like that. But this thing just, to me, I never liked Dodges like this, but now I'm the salmon and black did it for me. The interior with the salmon and black, I did that. This has a Valari clip. It has a 360 in it. It's about 500 miles on the rebuilt motor that the guy did. Tilt steering. I have the original and a parts car that came with it, and it has the push button dash, so I could convert it back. But the guy did such a nice job. I'm going to leave it. I painted the rim salmon because I thought that might do a little.
They had some pretty striking color combinations, but was this an original color combination?
I think it was, and don't quote me, but on a Royal it's supposed to be 3-tone. And this one was, the guy didn't do that. Okay. And he left the piece of chrome off the back, probably because he ran out of money chroming this thing. But it just, I just like it the way it is, and I wouldn't put the cream on it. So
there's a group of car people that get together for breakfast once a week up in Seattle, and I'm driving along. I see this in the parking lot. Ooh, ooh, I walk in. There's Ed sitting there, and it was his new acquisition.
Yes.
Oh, very.
And one of the young gentlemen, he came out and did quite a few pictures, and he's very knowledgeable about it.
Yeah.
He told me all about it. He knows more about this thing than I do.
Yeah,
I don't forgot his name.
That's Ryan Harsager. He's about 12, and he knows more than everybody.
Yeah, but he really liked it. So that was...
There's a Ryan-sized car here.
Oh, okay.
just down the way a little bit. Let's go look at it.
Okay.
Ed, I don't know what the deal is. I'm thirsty. I just sort of thirsty for a Coke. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And we'll have to send Coca-Cola a bill for the advertisement here.
Oh, I hope so. I could use the dough.
Yeah.
Trust me.
You obviously have a theme going on here.
Yes.
Did you pick it up this way or decide to go this way?
No, I saw this at AutoZone. A kid had the wheel off, and he was replacing the brake. He just did the motor. He just did the tranny. The interior was shot. It was a blue, but it did have white kind of, and I picked that up. It was lowered, and I kind of liked that. And he was willing to get rid of it. He had to leave town, and another barter deal. Well, I just kind of worked him. A John Farrell deal, I think. Anyway, I ended up with the car, and then I sent it right into the upholstery and the paint. And this just got done like last week.
Oh.
So, and yeah, the Coca-Cola if you see my place inside, you're gonna say, oh my gosh, the guy likes Coke. So I wanted a little Coke bug, and it actually won at the show. So that was, I never thought in a million years, but it's, you got Coca-Cola's a winner anyway.
Sure.
So I figure what the heck, I might as well build on it.
What year is it?
That's a 69, and I do have a lot of 69s. I don't know how that works.
Just happened. You had a sunroof there, so you can just
cranker.
Open that up and reach up for the pop.
Oh yeah, there you go. You just grab it right out of the cooler at 60 miles an hour. Runs great. It's a little too low, but it looks good.
Volkswagens seem to be getting more incorporated into the kind of the traditional hot rod, street rod crowd there, where they, in the past, it's like, oh, that's those Volkswagens, that's a whole different world. Now they seem to be being taken into the fold a little bit. It's just whatever catches my eye, and this is my newest one, so this is my favorite. Because whatever the newest one is, that's my favorite. No matter what it is?
It doesn't matter. Well, if it's the newest one, it's because I liked it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have did it. But yeah, fun to drive. It gets absolutely, looks like crazy, and people just really enjoy it.
Ed, the Vintage Vehicle Show has about 200 clips on YouTube that people, of course, can go to anytime they want to. Without fail, anytime we put a lowrider clip or anything close to a lowrider clip, it just shoots way up to, in fact, the #1 is a lowrider shot. So tell us about your sort of kind of lowrider, your 63 Impala.
This was right in Edgewood where I live. A gentleman had this, and he wanted to get some quick cash, and I said, yeah, that's probably cool enough that I'd like to own that. And so we made a deal, and it basically was just like this. Now, this is the original interior, and I believe the mileage is correct at 60,000. It's got the 327 original motor. Of course, we spruced it up a little bit, but he already had the airbags on it, and the 22s, or 2022s. Anyway, so I just like the look, and I love it. It's fun, and I took my son, both my sons, this was the prom car, and you put this up against a limo, and those guys got to shrink away. Yeah. Because this is too cool.
I was at a show that this car was at, and the airbags were being used on this, and of course, everybody was admiring it because it's a beautiful car and it's a 63 Impala and all that. As soon as it started moving, boy, the crowd just gathered right away.
It's even funner when you ride in it. You can actually go around a turn without using the steering. You can just drop her down and just go right. Turns. I've done it a few times. I haven't hit a pole or nothing yet, but yeah, don't drink and do that.
Okay. How was the local law officials about that? I know in some areas they don't like you doing that when you're driving down the street.
I don't do it enough. That, if this is not a daily driver, of course, but I think that recreationally they see it as just being fun,
Yeah,
so it's not a problem.
Just having fun.
Yeah.
And you're at Ocean Shores, Washington. I mean, this is all about fun here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So actually, the whole community has really been very inviting, and everybody loves to see the cars. And even the policemen, when they pull me over, they ask, "Hey, can I buy that?" After they write me a ticket.
Okay,
of course,
good.
You know,
don't want too
they
many.
keep me honest.
Yeah.
They keep me honest.
Yeah. Well, this is honestly a very cool car. Okay, Terry Ward, if you're watching the show, you may recall when we were in high school driving down the street in your dad's Cameo pickup, and some couple of guys decided they were going to challenge us, and a guy tried to drag me out of one of these, and we exited the vicinity quickly. But tell us all about your 56 Cameo here.
I was driving on up in Spanaway, and there was a car lot, and this was inside the garage, and the guy let me have this for $6,000, and of course it wasn't painted, but it was pretty much like this. I did the interior, and again, my guys, when we're not working in the winter, I said go ahead and paint this, keep them busy. So they painted this, and you know, it's not perfect paint or anything, but it was something to do, and it looks a lot better than it did. And it's got a 327 in it and a little automatic, which makes it a little, but these big wheels make it kind of hard to turn. No power steering, Armstrong steering. So when I want to work out, this is where I go right here. This will put me 15 minutes of this, and I'm good for the week.
Yeah. So the fiberglass bed on these things, so the fenders on it, and sort of they took, all of a sudden, instead of trucks being so utilitarian, they decided to dress them up a little bit. And how were the sales of these back then? Were they? I
don't know. I think all the rich guys bought these to go golfing. They throw their golf bag in, because if you put a shovel on the side of this, it'd break it. So it was just to make it look like they were going to do some work. So that's me. Perfect.
We have two trucks if we count the wrecker. Anything go on different here when you're driving a truck? Do you feel kind of a little more manly and trucky, and as opposed to like driving the Lancer, or is it just a set of wheels that's fun?
Just a set of wheels that's fun. The truck's really, other than of course the tow truck is just a different world. You're just in a different world. The Cameo, I've had it for about 15 years, so it's kind of, after a while you just kind of take it for granted, But it is a fun truck.
And you mentioned $6,000. What's the magic? I've heard that number 3 or 4 times now.
I try to keep everything under 10, because then I can dump it real quick when I go broke.
Yeah, when you go broke. Yeah, you won't go broke with this collection.
That way I can just dump it real quick. So whenever I'm thinking about a limit, I go, I can spend about 10. I feel good about it. So these are all these cars, or I'm bartering. I get a parking lot and the car and 10 grand.
Okay.
That's kind of my limit.
Okay.
That's moved up a little bit now these past few years, because you've got to get.
Sure, yeah.
But I'd like to. My whole goal is to trade and get nicer cars. Of course.
Trade
up, and I have done that.
Yeah, well, this is a good investment portfolio.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Better than the stock market has been too.
These days,
Trust me.
Ed, I've always liked little birds, 55, 56, 57 Thunderbirds. I have gone on a crash course of learning even more about these, and I was strongly considering buying one, and I shopped around and found a few that maybe I could work with the numbers on. But I had to face the fact I'm a little too big for them. It's a little cramped in there, but they are such a cool car. And you probably, when people think of a white Thunderbird and a blonde driving down the street, they don't think of you. They think of Suzanne Summers.
That's true.
Yeah. So tell us about this.
But I would, for Halloween, I am going to dress up as Suzanne Summers.
And more
we
than I
are
need
driving
to know.
this baby.
Okay.
Anyway, this was a friend of mine. He was in charge of a state sale for a gentleman in Seattle Auto Parts. He owned it, and he passed away. And the guy called me up and he said, "Hey, the thing doesn't start, and I have a trailer. Can you come out and get this thing back to my place so we can try to figure out what it is?" He says, "I got this Thunderbird." So I said, "Okay." So I wasn't working that day, so I said, I got today to help you. Don't call me tomorrow." So he said, "Yeah, let's go." So I grabbed my car trailer and we took off, and there was this and a 2000 Thunderbird red with 2,000 original miles parked in the garage. And he says, "Well, I might let you have that one of these for pretty reasonable.
Don't tell me $6,000.
No, I'm not going to tell you how much, but it was reasonable. Now, the guy used to own a car lot, so he worked me. He worked me about as hard as you can, and he knew I liked it, so I was in trouble. And I was born in '58, but of course in '57, my mom and dad were thinking about me because of March 28th. So that was my excuse to tell my wife, hey, come on, man, this is, I don't have a '58, so anything, so this has got to be my Thunderbird. But so we made the deal, and here it is, and fun car, just love driving it, and handles great. It's got 98,000 original miles. It's not the supercharged, but it's just better than I ever thought I'd have. So I was very fortunate in being able to get
When
it.
you're driving this, do you feel like you're driving a '57 Ford or a sports car, or what's the feeling?
Well, it's not like my '64 Jaguar.
No.
But it is close to, yeah, it's just a sports car. I feel like, you're down low, you're almost on the ground, and the seats aren't real comfortable. They remind you that you're driving something pretty low. And for 1957, it handles pretty darn good, and got enough poop to get going. Yeah. Just fun. Just you can take it anywhere, to dinner with my wife or anything. It's just fun.
Yeah, it sure it says class and quality and fun all at the same time.
Yes,
all right.
it really does.
Beautiful car. We talked about the T-Bird. You made reference to the E-Type Jag. Here it is. Maybe, in the history of automobiles, if you have the top 10 as far as beautiful cars, this probably will be in it. Tell us about your E-Type Jag.
Yes, this was, my brother had a shot at buying this car for a lot cheaper than I ended up paying. And he didn't want to do it, so I had a roller man, knew about it and where it was, and then we ended up going out there. He says, I want to go look at it tonight. I went, found it, and it was in the garage on blocks. And the story is, it came out of California. They own a vineyard, and he bought it, the original owner bought it for his wife for her birthday. She couldn't drive a stick, so they basically only drove it a few times. He gave it to his son. His son was 6'6". He couldn't drive it. He was too tall, and this doesn't have the lower floor. It is actually the rarer one that has the flat floor. It doesn't have much room. So he never drove it. So then it ended up with his granddaughter got it, and her husband was probably, I'm just gonna say he was really big. He couldn't drive it, and that's where I found it, on blocks. The name of the family was, the last name was Dollar. And the last license plate, I still have, it says no sense. And now I'm got it, and I just don't have any sense at all. So I own it, and it's a fun, when you drive this, you're in a different world. There's just no doubt about it. I feel like it handles, and just, I'm right back in time. I just love driving it, especially going to Quinault or down the along the ocean front. Just winding around the corners, with the top down.
Yeah, they're a timeless design. They're
just beautiful car.
Absolutely beautiful.
Fun. I'm just very fortunate to have it, and it does have 28,000 original miles, which is pretty low.
Is this the 6 in this?
Yes, this has a 6 with the dual carbs. No, 3 carbs.
You got a hole in the roof there.
Yeah.
You got to get that fixed.
Yeah, we fixed about everything we could.
And speaking of Jaguars, they're appreciated for their beauty and feared for their mechanics. Has this been okay?
Not bad after I got it overheated, and I don't know if it's because it sat for so long, but we had the radiator redone, and we did the generator. It's a generator, so I had that recoiled, and all. Just like everything, there's maintenance, and but the wiring has not been a problem, and that's, I don't know when that will happen next week, but we made it for the show. Okay, yeah.
And they look as good with the top up as they do down.
Oh, it's just a beautiful car. I just love it. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. Just
And
stunning.
you earlier you're throwing out the $6,000 number. I'm willing to give you $6,000 for this.
Yeah, I bet you are. But this one here, I had to step up a little bit, but I really got a fair deal. Okay. I really did. So
all right. Well, I'll work on it. I'll see if I can get this for there.
You can borrow it for a night.
Okay.
How about that?
That's good.
No cost.
All right. Ed, what a great time we've had here at the Route 66 Automobile Collection that you have here in Ocean Shores, Washington. It's very cool, very gracious of you to have us here. If somebody wants to know more about your collection, do you have a website they can go to?
The high grade, under high grade, and there will be a car website coming out.
Okay,
soon.
so high grade.
High grade asphalt.
Okay, high grade asphalt. Okay, good. So thank you very much, and
thank you, and I really appreciate you coming out and doing this, and I'm very humbled and just very thankful. I never thought in a million years I'd make it on TV.
Well, you did, and thanks for having us out, and thank you for watching the show. If you enjoyed this, then tune in next time. And now I'm going to do a little magic with the car here. I got a bunch of buttons to push here. Let's see what happens. See if anybody gets hurt.
I hope it works.
Oh.
You're gonna be done.
I better stop while I'm ahead. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.